Yes. What do you want?
I want you to look, see the participants.
Yeah, I see him.
No, you don't see some people. You see them. They just like us. Put your mouse up underneath the
So
remote.
just for anyone who might be watching, we're live streaming on YouTube. We're waiting for an additional board member who's trying to log in.
See who's there. And you can make it big and you'll see everybody that's there. Just do it. Maximize it.
Mhm.
You don't have to keep it there. You just make it big. What are you doing?
Maybe it's fine.
You're one of the first ones in, Pam.
Who are you looking for?
John, you know that we can hear you. Do you want me to mute you?
No.
Oh, you know how to mute yourself and unmute and all that? Okay.
Okay, I'll mute myself. All right. Okay.
Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I forget to unmute. Sometimes I forget to mute. So it's nice that it's 7 o'clock and it's still light out.
That it is.
Yep.
Now if we can get the rest of the ice off and get some water back in here.
I still have snow in my yard,
So do I.
right? But what's it? Thursday, it's supposed to get really, really warm.
72 here in Winchester.
Excellent.
I like that.
Right.
I already have my fan on here in my office.
Right? Greenhouse, right? Yeah, gonna crack the windows.
Had the windows open today.
It's good.
Do you want to call him back
I
and see
know.
what's up?
I'm tempted. Sometimes it seems like, let's see, how long has it been since?
It's 7 past 7 now.
I called him, 6 minutes ago.
Maybe whatever device he's on needs to restart or something.
I hate to be a pest. Let's give him another minute, because you know when you're trying to fool with something and you're panicking.
Yeah.
He's on the Hinsdale renovation committee, so I think it's not just this board that he meets with remotely. That's why I panicked, because I had posted an agenda on the website and I thought, oh my goodness, tell me there wasn't a conflict, but that's not it. Let me check my email. He had to switch to a hotspot, but he seems confident that he's getting it.
Excellent.
So you want to give him like 2 more minutes and then maybe you can open the meeting and you can start doing approval of the minutes, explanation of procedures, give it 2 more minutes because you should start the meeting by 7:15. But just
Okay.
give it 2 more minutes so we can.
Can we go out of order of the agenda?
Yeah.
We can
Yep.
go to minutes and things? Okay,
Mhm.
great.
Mhm.
Great. At least I guess then we have it on the record that we're waiting on him, so. Okay, this is the Town of Winchester Zoning Board of Appeals regular meeting on March 23rd, 2021, called to order at 7:15 p.m., being held on the Zoom platform and broadcast on YouTube TV. Present tonight are regular members, myself, Paul Marino, John Pollock, Hal Wilkes, and Aubrey English. Absent excused is Philip Allen. And currently we have no other members present. We are waiting on David Carter, who is trying to log in due to some technical difficulties on Zoom. So while we continue to wait for David Carter, we will move to the approval of the minutes. Does anybody have any fact of change for last month's minutes? You guys hear me?
Yeah, and,
Okay.
and probably just for the record, present is obviously you, Paul, you're running the meeting in Philip's absence, Aubrey English, John Pollock, and Hal Wilkes. David Carter had just phoned me. He's having problems, but he was going to phone in, using that number and enter the meeting ID. So as soon as I see him, I'll let him in. But yes, in the meantime, everyone has the ability to mute and unmute themselves, board members. So I think if you're looking for a motion for the minutes.
Actually, I have a question on the minutes, Pam, from last month.
Oh, boy.
First of all, it's called to order by Paul Marino Allen.
That's your middle name.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
But secondly, the ZBA 20-5258, we don't have the resolution at the end of its narrative. It doesn't record the vote unless I'm missing it. Last part of that is John questioned how many dogs would be trained, and then there's no resolution.
Is it not just above it? Hold on, I'm getting there. Yikes. All right. Do you want to? Okay, we're not even going to do this tonight. Why don't we suspend that?
I think we need a motion to amend the minutes from last.
Yeah, because you know what it was? I think you read into the record the motion. Hold on. You read into the record the motion, and it was unanimously opposed.
Correct.
As I recall, right?
Yes. We just don't have that in the minutes.
Right. And, the motion was uploaded to the documents that were online. So, that's easy enough. But if you want to just put this on the agenda for, here he goes, for next month, and then I can, these, however you want to do it. The motion was uploaded, so I can pull that up really quick just to refresh your memory for our.
No, I think your memory is accurate. What do we need to amend? What do we need to do to amend
that the February 23rd, 2021 minutes should be amended to include the Paul Marino made the motion. I don't recall who seconded it. And then I have the body of the motion from last month, that motion. And then, again, the vote was that it was unanimously opposed. This was the draft motion. Do you recall who had seconded that?
I don't. I can go back and we can go back and look at the YouTube recording, I suppose.
Right. So that's why.
Pam, can you hear me?
Yes. Yep. You're in, Dave.
Okay, I seconded that motion.
Okay.
Okay. So Pam, as a matter of procedure, do
I'll
we,
correct your name and I'll add that motion to the February 23rd minutes. Dave had seconded it and it was unanimously opposed.
okay, but we don't need to make a motion to amend the minutes, right?
Yes, you do.
Okay, so I'll
And
take a
then-
motion. I'd like a motion to amend the minutes from February 23rd to include the motion to approve ZBA 20-5258, which was seconded by Dave Carter, and unanimously opposed, added to the record for the minutes, and also change my middle name.
Mr. Chairman, before we make that motion, I have one additional correction needs to be made.
Yes.
Number 5, approval of the minutes, January 26, 2021. My name was apparently not put in there past, and Mr. Allen's was, and he was not present. Just a minor correction that needs to be made.
So if we can add to the motion to correct the minutes from February 23rd, the motion to approve the minutes was made with Mr. English present and not Mr. Allen present.
I'm very sorry.
Can I have a second on that motion?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 All opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. Dave, can you hear us okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So for the purposes of this meeting, Mr. Allen is not present, and alternate Dave Carter will be seated in his absence. And with that, we have 5 seated members. The way our process works is we will read the application. We will give the applicant an opportunity to state their case and talk to us about the project and why they'd like to do it. We will then open it up to a public hearing, a chance for the public to ask questions. Right after, the applicants stated to talk to us about what they'd like to do, the board will probably have some questions, and then we'll open it up to the public hearing. And we ask that when we do open it up to the public hearing, that all questions come through me as the chair, and we'll direct them to the appropriate parties in this application. So with that, we will open.
Hold on one second before you open it. You just want to establish who's seated for this. I believe, John, are you recusing yourself as a
I
neighbor?
thought we had to open the application first, and then John would have to.
Well, you just want to establish from, which I guess you could. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we'll open it, then we'll talk about the
And then
floor.
give the applicant the option. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
okay.
My bad.
So we are going to open the application for special exception ZBA 20-5258, a special exception for 504 East Wakefield Boulevard. Applicant Sean Stanzilli. Did I pronounce that right, Sean?
Stanziel.
Stanziel, my apologies. And this is to a proposal to renovate a garage to add second floor living. Now that we've opened up the application, John, what's your position on this, John?
My position, I'll have to recuse myself, so I won't be voting one way or the other.
Right. So for the record, regular member John Pollock recuses himself for this application. So what that means is we need it's not a simple majority at ZBA to get approval. We will need 4 affirmative votes, and you will have 4 members tonight that will hear the application and vote on it. So you will need a unanimous affirmative to get your project approved. We do offer you the opportunity when we have a 4-member seated for this application. We do offer you the opportunity to postpone until the following regular meeting, with the opportunity that potentially there could be 5 seated members and you won't have to necessarily get a unanimous vote. But that would be up to you as the applicant. If you'd like to move forward, we have enough people to do it. If you'd like to postpone, you are welcome to.
I would like to move forward.
Okay. Then with that,
And I'm sorry, are you looking to have both of these applications considered simultaneously? Or are you looking to amend the agenda to have the variance considered ahead of the special exception? Mike, maybe you want to help on this, or Matt? Do you want the variance considered first or the special exception? You can request it and you know, they can modify the agenda if you
I'm
are
sorry,
looking for that.
I was having trouble unmuting myself.
Are you looking to have the variance considered ahead of the special exception, or the special exceptions for the garage, the variances for the addition? What are you looking to have?
I don't think it makes a difference which one we look at first. We might as well
Okay.
start with the
That's-
special exception.
Okay,
That's correct.
all right, then please go ahead and tell us about your project.
My wife and I are new owners of 504 East Wakefield Boulevard. We purchased it in August. We have a family of 4, 2 children, 13 and 16. And we purchased our home knowing that we had a good size building lot. And we want to increase the size of our home to meet our family's needs. I don't know if everyone had the ability to read the letter that we wrote in regards to some of the things that we're planning on doing with the home. But it's a way to increase the size of our home without altering the footprint, gaining square footage over the garage.
Will someone take us through the actual project itself?
I can do that. I'm Michael Sherman. I'm a licensed professional engineer in the state of Connecticut. And Sean has hired me to put together the site plan, which we submitted with this application. Pam, if you could give me share screening, I could pull up the plan and we can run through it.
yeah, I've made you co-host, so.
Okay. And bear with me for a moment and I'll get the plan up. Okay, this is the site plan entitled 504 East Wakefield Boulevard, prepared for Sean Stanziel.
It's not shown, right?
And I'm going to zoom up here and
It's not shown, Mike.
We're just seeing your remote PC.
oh, you're not seeing the plan?
No, just the remote PC by iDrive screen.
Oh.
I'm looking at the entire plan. I've got the whole thing on paper right here in front of me.
I don't know how to get the screening back. It says I'm share screening. I'm screen sharing here.
So stop share. And then start share again, and then go to and then you'll see, every window that you've got open, and then click on the window that you want to share.
Here we go. Okay, we're closer now.
Yep.
We are.
And here's the plan you have in front of you. I'm going to zoom up on it onto the garage area because that's what we're talking about at this moment. Here is Sean's existing garage in the dark, heavy line here, inside here. What he'd like to do is put a wood deck on the back of it. I have the distances to the sideline. If we zoom up here, you see that the existing garage is 14 and a half feet from John's boundary on this side, and it's 21.3 at Raymond's. The work that we're going to do is not going to decrease those distances at all because Sean's just adding a bonus room to the top of the garage. And
Correct.
it's just going straight up. And as the garage goes towards the lake, it gets further from the property line. So we won't be infringing any more on the side yard. I'm going to go through some pictures so you can see what we're looking at. All right, I think I got it to stay this time. This picture is just merely to let you know where we are. That's the end of his driveway coming out to East Wakefield Boulevard. And this is the garage that he's talking about going up on. So he gave you an elevation view too, I think, with a package. I could call it up and show it, but he's going to increase the height of the roof. He's going to come out with some dormers to give the extra room for the bonus room. And it's going to be fairly close to what the height of it is now. It's only going to be off by, Sean, do you have that number? How many feet it's going to rise? It's still going to be well below the permitted 30 feet.
The total feet is 24.6.
And I'm going to, this is a view along John's boundary here. And this is the existing drive that Sean would like to tear up and put in topsoil and grow grass and remove all this imperviousness here. This is the back of the garage where presently he's just got a stone steps coming down to the driveway from the back. One thing that we're going to start discussing imperviousness on this site. I want you to notice all around the well here, all this green moss. This is all on top of ledge. The whole site is primarily ledge.
Correct.
Forward through. This is a view looking down through the lake, through the house. One thing I want to point out that's been an interest to this board in the past, I'm going to go back. You can see that the ledge here blocks the view of the lake from the road. There is no view of the lake presently. We're not going to do much to change that. With this application, Sean would like to move the driveway, if you follow my arrow, over to the other side of this tree and enter there. And he's going to have a parking spot next to the garage. So we'll be removing these big rocks and taking the ledge down just a little bit. That might actually give you a little bit more of a view of the lake through this work. On our plan here, if you look at the zoning information table, we have for impervious coverage, he's allowed 15%, 20% with LID measures. Presently, he has 39%. If we went and did all this work, it would actually raise it up to 40%, but we're using an LID measure of using pervious patio pavers for his patio and for his walk here, which will actually reduce the imperviousness overall of the site down to 34%.
Is within that. Yep.
And Mr. Sherman, that includes both the other project as well in that impervious change, correct?
Yes, it does. Yes.
Because we're looking at the special exception for the garage, and then we've got the variance coming up, which is going to include some changes to the main structure, which affects this impervious. But those are your measurements after both.
Yes. The garage itself really does nothing to increase the imperviousness on the site because it's a wood deck where the rain can go through and it won't be paved underneath the deck. It'll just be open graded. So the water will still be able to go through the deck and absorb into the ground there. So that's about it for the garage portion for the special exception. I'm not sure if we should go into everything on the house at this moment and wait till,
No, you, just for the record, with a special permit, you need wetlands approval, and wetlands approval was received last Wednesday, March 17th.
Thank
so
you.
Pam, did you write up the exact distances of the variances that we're
Yeah,
asking?
but
for?
we'll talk about that under the variances. Yeah.
Yeah, so staying with this one application, does the board have any questions for the applicant or his representatives? All right. If there
All
are-
I'm seeing, excuse me, all I'm seeing is a continuation of use. This is a non-conforming, conforming use. It's another haunting from our past. He's not doing anything hardly at all to modify what's already there.
Yeah,
There's
just
no
adding that.
possible way to get rid of the side lots that you have. You're staying within building height.
Hey, Dave,
The only way yes.
this might be more appropriate actually for our discussion after. Does anybody have any questions for the applicant at this point? We'll take up that discussion when we get past the public hearing, I think.
Roger that.
So if there are no more questions for the applicant from the board, then we will open this up for public hearing.
Open it up to the public. Yeah. So
We'll open this up to the public hearing, and we'd like to hear from anybody first that is in favor of the project, and then we'll take we'll hear anybody that's opposed. So do we have anybody from the public that would like to speak in favor of this project?
I'm Mike Gonzalez. I'm his next door neighbor, new neighbor also, who's in this. Met with you guys not that long ago.
Can you
Just wanted-
please just state your name and address for the record?
Sure, Michael Gonzalez, 522 East Wakefield Boulevard.
Thank you.
Just wanted to speak in support of Sean and the project he's doing. I've looked over it a number of times. We've spoken about it continuously over the past few months. As you see in the project, kind of coming closer to my house. I'm okay with it. You know, in full support of the project. I think it's great.
Unfortunately, sir, we're having a difficult time hearing you.
Sure. If I speak up, is it better?
Yeah, it seems to be breaking up. I can't quite tell why, but can you? We really didn't hear much of anything that you had to say, unfortunately.
Sure. I apologize. Is louder coming through?
It seems to be better now. Yes.
Okay. So my name is Mike Gonzalez, 522 East Wakefield Boulevard. Just speaking in support of the Stanziali's project. We have gone over it. I've seen it all. As you guys go through it, you'll see it. You know, it's coming closer to my house. I'm okay with that. It's not a problem to us. It looks like what he's done is tried to. He is as tactful as possible. So again, we're just speaking our part. I'm in support of Sean and Brooke.
Thank you very much. I think we got most of it. We got the gist of it.
Sorry about that.
So thank you very much. Do we
You're
have
welcome.
anybody else from the public who'd like to speak in favor?
Yes, I would like to speak. I'm John Pollock, the next door neighbor at 502 East Wakefield Boulevard. And I went over the plans with Sean for the garage, and after discussing it with him, I don't have a problem with it. So I'm in favor of it also.
Excellent. Thank you. Anybody else from the public? Then at this time, we will close the public hearing portion of this application. Any final questions from the board? Then we will close the application and open up discussion between the board. Dave, please continue.
Yeah, sorry about messing up the protocol. Again, I'm looking at the print as I'm also going out of my mind and getting ready to make many phone calls after this on why my service isn't working. But the print aside, I mean, we're going to see this again and again and again when people are buying property on the lake where they have a non-conforming use that it's existing, and the people want to modify it to suit their new needs for the property. And honestly, everything's outlined in red. The engineer did an outstanding job on noting everything, and honestly, I don't have any problem with the project.
Okay. Any other comments from the board? Any other discussion? If not, then we will move forward and read the motion. Let's see, let me get the right one here. Okay. Motion to grant special exception pursuant to III.C.4.B of the zoning regulations for application number 20-5258 to add a second floor to the existing garage per the drawings submitted for the property located at 504 East Wakefield Boulevard. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye. Aye.
So I've got 4 ayes, all opposed. The motion is carried. Your special exception is granted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And with that, we will move on to our ZBA number 215261, a variance located at 504 East Wakefield Boulevard. Applicant is Sean Stanzales. Variance for addition to cottage, covered porch, and deck. Pam, have the abutting neighbors all received? We have all that stuff in-house?
Yeah.
Okay. And with that, we open the floor again to you, Sean, and your team to talk to us about the variance application.
Hello. When buying the home, the most important thing was to be neighborly, being that we plan to be here for a long time and we want to expand our home to meet our family's needs. We felt that this was the best compromise we can come up with to be a good neighbor to to John Pollock and Mary, being that their property is close to our property. And this option was to not go up, being that part of the house is so close to their property line. We felt at a big cost to us, keeping the profile of the home at 1 story that borders their property would have the best, it's the best situation for the Pollocks and us. And we also have the support from Mike's family, the Gonzalez family, with the addition that would be going closer to their property line.
Okay. Matt, were you going to take us through the project?
Well, I could. I don't know if I want to turn it over to maybe Mike right now, and he can go
Okay.
over thing. But I can do a little introduction here. Obviously, what this portion of the project entails is, and for the record, Matthew Clausen, I'm the builder on this. What it entails is removing a small section of the existing house that's highlighted in, I guess, with gray lines right now. Constructing a new 25.5 by 22 addition to the, I guess we'd call it the southwest side of the property towards the Conclave side. With that being said, and also a covered porch on there. This area would be required for the additional living space for the requirements. And then also that will have a walkout area that goes onto the patio below. Wood deck across the front of it. Well, I'm sorry. I guess it's technically the rear, but it's the water side of the property. And like I spoke about before, a covered porch. I think with that being said, I could turn it over to Mike and he can get into some of the technical details of obviously what he's done to decrease impervious coverages and whatnot on this. So with that said, your floor is yours, Mike.
Hey, thank you, Matt. Pam, may I have screen sharing again?
You have it. Do you want me to prompt you or?
Yeah, my little
Yeah.
absence there, I was stuck
Okay.
on my computer back up in Connecticut.
Sure. So here it comes.
All right, let's see if I can get to the right place now. Whiteboard. This is what I left you on before, right? The
Well,
remote
you want
PC.
to accept the co-host. And then hover around the bottom where it says shared screen.
I'm pressing the share screen and I'm hitting share.
Yep. Okay. Here
Okay,
we
so
go.
now you see where I am.
No, we see your remote PC again.
Yeah, so
You're going to
Um,
connect.
we're in Florida right now. Once I press this button, you'll be back in Connecticut.
There you go.
Okay, what we have here is the elevation view of what Sean would like to do with his house. He's gonna take off the existing roof and rebuild a new one and have dormers coming out, but maintaining this close to the same height.
Mr. Sherman, could you rotate that so that we're looking at it sideways? There you go. Great. Thank you.
Okay, so this is the front elevation. And Sean, I always get confused with the lakes because a lot of people consider the lake side the front and the street side the back. But this is truly the street side, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And so now we're looking at the left elevation down below here. And this would be, I'm thinking we're looking towards John's property here because here's that covered porch that you show on the plan.
That's Mike's.
And here's the deck that goes out towards the lake.
Mike, I think that's Gonsalves side.
Yeah, it says south side.
What you're showing right now, the left side is actually.
Right,
facing
so I'm saying
Gonsalves.
we're looking at John's property through the house. So we're looking north. We're looking east is what we'd be looking at the south elevation.
We'd be looking north, I think.
Yeah, this is a little confusing. I'm pretty sure this, here, I'll get onto the plan and show you what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that is the
I
south
was
side.
thinking
We'll
we
call
were
it.
looking this way as you follow the hand up towards here, because here's the covered porch and here's the wood deck.
So we'd be looking north.
Yeah, except north is towards the lake. I thought, where's my north arrow here? Oh, sorry to bore you with those big tables. There is north. All right, that's all. I'm sorry, I was turned around. I'm working on another project where the lake's north of the property. All right, so what we were looking at was the covered porch, the wood deck, and note that underneath the wood deck is where he proposes to have the patio, which will come underneath the deck to a sliding glass door that will open up into the basement of the new addition. In order to keep the basement walls with easily buildable height, we are going to grade and take away the ledge down around this corner here. And previously, if you look at how the storm drainage went off this property, it used to flow off to the north, and it would gradually turn itself around and head down towards the lake. We're not going to do anything to disrupt that flow. We're going to keep the water flowing here, and we have a grade to drain at 2%, which will bring it back over to this area so it'll drain naturally as it had before. We will be picking up all the runoff that lands on the existing house through roof leaders and draining them to a rain garden here, which is our LID measure. And the water will soak through the soil here and eventually seep through the dry rubble landscaping wall, which would just be to the west of it. And the same will happen here with the pervious patio. The water will soak through the pavers, and I can show you the detail for that. It'll soak through the pavers and it'll go into this 3/4 inch compacted wash stone reservoir, which we figured at 30% porosity. And using the 30% porosity, we figured that it had to be 8 inches deep to hold 1 inch of runoff that would land onto the pervious patio. Once it's in this reservoir, it will slowly soak into the soil and down through the dry rubble wall into the rain garden for the majority of it. And otherwise, it will drain down through the dry rubble wall and head on down towards the lake after it's been filtered through all the loam that it would have to work its way through. What else do we have here? I'm not sure. We have details here for the dry rubble landscaping wall where I just put in the batter that's necessary to keep it stable. And we have a engineered wall where if the wall has to get higher than 4 feet, that they can use this detail here, which I think may have to happen between the patio and the rain garden, because we excavated for the rain garden. We increased the height of the wall, so it'd have to be engineered. This dry rubble wall will be backed by a non-woven geotextile that's made specifically for drainage. The reason we use non-woven is to keep it from clogging. If you buy the stuff that's all woven together, they have a tendency to clog much sooner. I'll go back and we'll discuss. I can give you another glance at the impervious calculations. If you look at the light blue, that's all the existing impervious. If you look at the darker shade of purple, that was previously impervious, but will remain impervious for this application. And then the light pastel, almost salmon color, that is new impervious that we're calling for. Of course, I shouldn't have colored it for the walk here because we're using the pervious pavers through there. And this is the patio under the hand. Sorry about that. Can you take this? That's Will. Sorry, folks, that's my son who's flying into Florida tomorrow morning and wants us to pick him up. Okay, so now we're going to move along to the site plan. You can see the existing house here shaded with the dark solid line. What Sean would like to do is remove this small addition and replace it with a larger 25.5 foot by 22 foot addition and put a covered porch. Because a covered porch, it's covered, it's considered a structure. That's where we show our distance from the side yard where the would be 12.3 feet. So that should be in the application, asking for a variance on the side yard on this side of the property, on the south side. So it's 35 feet is, if you look at this tiny little triangle here, that's right going through the C and the word wood deck, that's actually the building lines for this lot here. That's where we can legally build a house, right inside that tiny little sliver there, without having to get a variance. So, anything you do on this property, you have to ask for a variance because of just how the lot is laid out. So we got 12.3 feet here. That would be, we're asking for variance. I can do my math here. So we're asking for a 22.7 foot variance on the south side of the property. And that takes us to the corner of the covered porch. That's the difference between 35, which is good, and the 12.3 feet here. On the north side, I don't think we need to ask for a variance. The existing house is 2.1 feet off the property line, and we're not doing anything to push the house closer. Or the wood deck. The wood deck is 2.9 feet to the existing line. We're going to replace the wood deck. I can show you a picture of what it is.
You need a variance because the deck is going to be 9 feet off the side yard. So there.
We're 4.2 feet, so we're going to need a 4.8 foot variance for the deck.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
We do have the 9 feet on the south side, so we'll only be asking for a variance on the north side of the property. Where was I? Oh, I was going to show you pictures of the house again.
Can I just, I'll ask you a quick question. Can we go back to that for a minute?
Okay.
So you said you only need the variance for the north side up there, but you also still need the variance on the south side because it's going to have I guess what you show on the map here now is 9 feet.
Yes, to the deck. So we don't need a variance for the deck on the south side, is what I was trying to say.
Well, wouldn't the setback there be the 35 feet as well?
Well, that's only for the structure.
Oh,
the covered
okay. So
porch
the deck doesn't
houses
have the same one.
structure.
Right, you're right. You're right. The structure is 12.3 though, right?
Yeah, I can
That's
show
correct.
you the motion that I came up with. Because, and it's why when we draft these motions as staff, we always say as per plans. Yeah, I don't know if it's premature to, actually, it might be. I have it pulled up, but, I can't say. That measurement of 12.3 is to the covered porch, right, Mike?
That's correct.
And 9 feet to the deck. So, to give, so it's 23 feet, is that what you said? For the 23 foot.
22.7, I think you said.
Yeah, okay. So, okay,
Yeah, I prefer to round numbers.
Yep.
Then we don't have somebody out there with a tape measure giving us a hard time where we're.
Yeah, no, and right, Mark does too.
Can you show us the table again at the top? Because what I'm looking at on the paper copy that I have shows side yards proposed of 7.8 on the east side, which we're not even really doing the east side. So
That might be to the garage. I might have gotten that. No change. I'll have to slip down here and where did I get that 7.8 from? Oh, that's 14.8. We have 14.5 to the garage, 21.1 to the garage. And those just get bigger as we get further from the property line. Where did I get that 7.8 from?
And it's really not the east side and the west side either. This would be the north side and the south side, correct?
Yeah, now we're back to me looking at the lake, thinking that was north. So yes, it would be the south and the north side. Yeah, so, well, the patio has to be 9 feet too, right, Pam?
Yes.
So we're showing 6.7 on the patio too, so we want to make sure we get a variance for that. That's on the north side. And it's 4.2 for the wood deck. We don't need any variances for the patio or the deck on the south side. And we're asking for the 12.3 for the covered porch. And I'm going to have to correct this table. That number is an error on the east side for 7.8.
The drawing's accurate though.
Yes.
Mike, what did you say? You're making it the impervious surface less non-conforming, right? You're improving that.
We are improving it, yes. Through the use of the RLIDS patio and the previous walkway. Because if we made those impervious, we'd actually increase it by 1%. Which is all a tongue-in-cheek thing with this piece of property, since it's all ledge and it's all impervious anyways.
Can you take us back to the drawing that had the different colors for a second?
Sure.
So my question is the green or blue is
This is the bituminous concrete for the driveway, which turns into compact gravel.
so that's impervious.
Right, and I can show you a picture of that.
Yeah, no, but and then the dark purple's impervious.
Everything that's shaded is impervious. It's just a matter of when it was and when it will be.
Right. So we're adding the pinkish color there is further impervious, yet we're reducing it by 3%. Just share with us how that's being done, please.
Well, here's where I had mentioned before, I shouldn't have shaded the paved walkway, the impervious pavers on the walkway or the impervious patio. That's shaded here. So the increase is actually this shaded area where the pointer is, and this would be the limits of the addition and the covered porch on the house.
But even without the walk in the patio, there's more impervious. All of the lightest color there, the pink color, is more impervious, yet somehow you're reducing it by 5% or 4.9%. I'm just curious how we're reducing impervious, because no matter how you slice it on this drawing, there's more pervious coverage, right?
Well, you look at the area of the blue, light blue shading compared to the area of the pink shading, and the pink shading is less if you don't count this area and the patio.
I apologize. The light blue is all going away. That top color there,
Right, that's all going to become
driveway is being eliminated. That's the difference. Thank you.
Yeah, he's gonna rip that all up and put in topsoil and plant grass.
I misunderstood it. I didn't hear you say that part was going away, or at least when we got to the drawing part. So thank you.
Okay. Now we'll get back to the photos and I can show you these areas that we're talking about. This is the bituminous portion of the driveway that's going to get ripped up and changed over to lawn. The new driveway will be coming up pretty much in between these two trees. This will all be capped. We'll cut a radius here so the cars can make the turn up into the driveway. And this area here will be hogged out, made level with the garage for another parking space to the left of the garage. He's probably going to have to lose a few trees here to do this. And then I'm going to move on down towards the main house and explain some of the things that are going on down there. So this is the north side of the house, which is going to pretty much remain the same. And this side, this is a small addition that's going to get removed. He's going to put dormers up here to add a little living space in the attic area there. This, oh, we keep coming back to that. So the covered porch will extend straight from the edge of this house out in this direction, following my pointer into what looks like a giant tree here. This is a view of where the water is going presently to get down to the lake that drains off of the lot. It just naturally drains down through here. It'll work its way down to the lake. This is that existing addition that'll be removed. So all of this will be removed, and you will extend the addition, the new addition out past this point and put in a new deck that will connect up over to where this existing deck was. And that'll of course be replaced with all new stuff. This is the lake side of the house, and this area here, there's a concrete walk down there. Let me get to it. When you see this walk and you see how it's starting to fall into the lake, you see why Sean's eager to get going on this project and get this place fixed up. This is some of the ledge that's underneath the house that he's going to have to deal with. These are the sonotomes for the existing deck, which are pretty much going to be what we're going to use on the proposed deck. And this is the only flat area on the lot. This is the area right before the seawall. This is actually looking off of his property. The property line is coming right up to the pier here. So I'll give you another shot here so you can see more of the lakefront. Back up one. So the profile from the lake and how this house will change, you can see this roof line will continue off in this area, straight down here. It'll give you a good picture of what the house will look like afterwards, and the deck will continue all the way across the house and connect up with the existing deck at this point. Underneath the deck here, you'll see a sliding glass door, possibly another window or two for the basement room in the new addition. The patio will be all set up at the top of this existing landscaping wall. The rain garden will be put right in here in between the two landscaping walls. And that won't take too much grading. And that'll be about all the change that you see on the property from the lake view. I'm just flying through. I thought I had a picture of the house to the south, or a house to the south. And I don't think this house, when it's all said it's done, is going to be as large as this other house here to the south of their southern neighbor. That might be two houses down. I'm not quite sure which house that is. But you can see that the new profile along the lake will be in harmony with other construction and building that's gone on in the zoning area. Here's another shot of our ledge along the south side. This is the garage right here where my pointer is. And this is the area that we're going to chip out and grade down on the plan where you see the contours. Any of you that are real astute with grading, you'll see that the contours are steeper than 2 to 1, which is always suggested for sediment erosion control. But because we're dealing with rock here, we don't have to worry about instability of the slope. And so I'm showing them at 1 to 1, and I know that the state goes far steeper than that when they're dealing with rock. As you'll know, as you drive down Route 8, and you see the areas where they've chipped through the ledge to build the road. So I think this is a conservative build. We don't have any major engineering issues to deal with. And I think it's going to fit in nice with the neighborhood. And that's all my pictures. I'd like to open it up for questions.
Any questions from the board?
Paul, my question is, our concerns for hardship have to do with the land. What is the hardship here?
Sean?
I mean, we have the topography of the land, and we're trying to modify the home to work with what we, what issues are there with the land. We have a 1910 house that has virtually had no improvements whatsoever. It's a completely dated house, and we're trying to, complete an addition that would be, in keep one being neighborly to the Pollocks. The house was built so close to the Pollocks property line. And we feel like this is the best use of the land with the topography that we have.
Yeah, my question is to the chairman. I would like to know what the hardships are as presented to us regarding the land, which is what we're concerned with. Our concerns are not your living convenience, let's say. Our concerns are to do with the land and the land only. So I don't, I would like to have an answer to that, Mr. Chairman. What is the hardship here?
Well, so when we look at hardships, and according to the regs, when I look at variances, one of the things, so we can't grant a variance unless we find the following: that it would be in harmony with the purposes set forth within the regulations, that literal enforcement of these regs would result in unusual hardship as the same has been defined by the courts, by the state of Connecticut. And we can also look at hardship as being due to the unique shape, topography, or other inherent condition, the personal hardship of the owner, such as age or family condition, and is not a legal hardship that would support granting a variance. So we have to see, I mean, the topography is one thing apparently that we can take into account. Pam, do you have any further guidance on that for us?
Yeah, right. It has to be a hardship that's unique to this parcel. I don't know if, Mike wants, not Mike, Sean, if you want to describe what.
So in our letter, we wrote about, one is the size of the house. We included some pictures. I don't know, Pam, if we can, the hardship of even accessing the staircases, the door openings. The property has a center chimney that was built in 1910, which kind of really limits, and you can see it from the initial architect laid out. It has that center chimney in it. So there's literally very limited ability to change much with that center chimney. The bathroom, there's a staircase. The bathroom is so small that you can barely fit underneath the sink. And I'd like to say that there's just not even a real easy way to change it, being that it's a center fireplace home. The kitchen is so small that you can't even open the refrigerator to get to the kitchen, to get into it without hitting the kitchen cabinets. Every door, that's the width of the staircase. It's 16 inches wide to get to the downstairs. So the house being a 1910 house, having a wife that has hip dysplasia that will be getting hip replacements, having a son that's had some medical problems and 2 leg surgeries. We want to make the house usable for a family. The house being a 1910 house, the topography of the land, and trying to improve the usage of it, and having that center fireplace, it just literally has it has almost no options.
And we already have structures on either side of us.
So, Hal, in reference also to your question, section 5 says the hardship must be unique to the property in the sense that a characteristic which is not exhibited by other properties in the area, and which makes it appropriate for special treatment. Here's the part that might be helpful. Merely being too small or too narrow is not a legal hardship unless it restricts the property from being put to reasonable use permitted within the subject district. So that, reasonable use, I guess, is what we have to find.
Can I ask a question? Can it be approved merely on the fact that it's in harmony with the zoning regulations? Because I think that's one of the reasons Sean pushed to the south was to be in harmony with his neighbors, because if he went straight up, which he could legally do without having to ask for a variance, he would be blocking the view of his neighbor's lake view. And so he chose to instead go for a variance and extend to the side in an effort to be harmonious with the development in the area around him. I guess that came out more of a statement than a question, didn't it?
Yeah, I think that for us, we have to look at, is it reasonable use? Or not granting this, does it restrict the property from being put to reasonable use? Which is kind of what we face on every one of these, really, in the Highland Lake District.
Well, the house was bought knowing all of these things. I don't see, personally, I don't see any hardship here at all. I agree with his problems here with the personal use of the house, but I don't believe it's basically has much to do with us. Really, we're more concerned about the land than personal problems.
Well, I think the use of the house is what the narrow stairs, the problematic, that they have with the house is what they're presenting as the hardship.
But I don't think that's our situation here. I don't think that's our problem.
Well, we're the only ones who can grant the variance based on our opinion of hardship. And again, it's what is the definition here, and does the hardship meet that definition?
Sean, it doesn't appear that I had pictures of the chimney. I don't know if you have them, if you, or if anyone from your team has them.
Yeah. I mean, we just have the architect's drawing of where the, where the fireplace lands in how you can modify the home. We just have the architectural drawing in the first page of where that fireplace lands on it. I don't have a picture of it. We do have it on
I have it on my phone.
the realtor on the realtor.com has it, but
Do you want me to try?
What do you, oh,
yeah, we're trying to show that there's the
That's in
center.
the center, and then to the left and right are the small bedrooms.
And
So
the
the
bathrooms
bed-
located.
Yeah.
The bathroom, yes.
So the bedrooms do not even come close to meeting the requirements of the state of Connecticut for what a bedroom. One bedroom is 48 square feet, and the other bedroom is 54 square feet.
There's actually 2 bedrooms and a bathroom there, if you can imagine. They're like the size of a walk-in closet.
And we purchased a home, being that we've been looking at the lake for quite some time. Our home could be one of the smallest homes on a third of an acre lot on the lake. So we purchased a home knowing that it had a sizable lot with a 700 square foot home on it. Being new homeowners on the lake, we believe that we didn't understand that the lake required this much work to do the improvements, but we did believe that because we had a much better situation than most homes our size on the lake, that it would be a process far easier than we've come across.
We put a lot of research in. We went out by boat, we went by car, we went around the lake, and other homes had beautiful additions and were remodeled on smaller pieces of property. So we weren't hesitant.
I know that's Mrs. Stanziel, but for the record, will she identify herself?
Yeah.
Brooke Stanziel, 504 East Wakefield Boulevard.
Thank you.
thank you. Any other questions from the board?
Yeah, Paul.
Yes.
Is it my understanding, or is it, I've got to try to bear with me because I'm running in the dark, but are they going to be coming in to reapply for another variance, or is this the only one on the property?
They're asking for the required variance for this addition as well as the porch. The deck is also included in this on the northerly side. So it's the south side variance for the addition and the porch, and it's the north side variance for the deck.
Okay, so they won't be coming back again.
At least for this application, I don't believe that they will.
All right.
If there are no other questions from the board, then at this moment, we will open this up for the public hearing and invite anybody from the public who first is in favor of this project to speak. Anybody? If we have nobody in favor, anybody that would be opposed to the project?
Hello.
This is Mike Gonzalez again. Oh, go ahead, John.
Mike, were you speaking in favor?
Yes, I was, but let John go ahead.
All right. John? I think you're muted, John.
Okay.
There you go. We can hear you now.
I just wanted to say that after considering what Sean has been going through, his original plan was to build a house very close to my property, and it was going to be maybe like three floors to possibly 4 floors high. And I was not in favor of that. And as a result of that, that would be blocking my view, and I would be really concerned about the water runoff. And then he came up with a new plan that basically is using more of the land, and he's having the house spread out more towards the south. And he's trying to make, I guess, the non-conforming. First of all, the lot is non-conforming, and he has one of the smallest houses on the lake. Because I've lived here most of my life, and I've known the previous owners. And the house is only like 700 square feet. It's seasonal. And the biggest problem is the hill. That's probably what the hardship would be in this case. He lives on a hill, and it's going to be hard to do anything to make some type of construction. The only place that he possibly could make some kind of construction is to the south side, and that's what his new plans are. And under his new plans, the design is much more conforming than what his first one was, and that was the reason why I was under the objections of his first plan. His second plan, I'm strongly in favor of it, and I don't think it would be any type of a hardship to the lake, and the runoff would be much better. And I hate to say it, but I can't see how somebody could really live in such a small house like this. He wants to come up here quite a bit of times during the months, and then in the wintertime, he's not going to be able to come up because he doesn't really have any heat or anything else like this. And so I'm in favor of his second plan, which we just went over.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Mr. Gonzalez? If we can hear you?
Can you hear me?
We can, in and out.
Oh, geez, I apologize. So just to reiterate, obviously I'm in favor of the project. Again, we've gone over it a bunch. I know you guys are talking about hardship, and I'm no expert here, but that land, many of the lots around the lake present their own difficulties. You combine that with, neighbors. Sean's done everything he can do to try to take into account all his neighbors. I think the plan is as good as can exist, and I think it's in keeping with the use that's been that everybody else is, the same way everybody else is using it. It's all I can say is I'm in favor of it. I don't know. I don't know if I can change any view of hardship, but certainly the property itself, the topography, the shape of the land presents limitations, and I think he's trying to work within those limits.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public that would like to speak to this application? Then at this time, we will close the public application, and any final words from the applicant or your team?
Yes, I'm wondering if we can consider, a continuation so I can talk with my engineer about some of the concerns that the board member has. I would like to be able to, answer them. I'm just not 100% qualified to answer them.
You have to reapply.
No, he could continue it if you're inclined to let, you just wouldn't close the public hearing is the key.
Okay,
Okay. So you would have the option then of postponing this until the April meeting to close the public hearing. We would resume it at the public hearing stage, Pam?
Yep. That because that's the only way, he can take leave to address open items. If he wants to better respond.
Okay. Would you like to go ahead and do that then?
Yes.
Then I think we will need a motion to continue application 21-5261, a variance located at 504 East Wakefield Boulevard, to the following month. Can I have a motion?
Motion to continue.
Second. All in favor?
I'll second.
All in
Aye.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Unanimous.
The motion carries, and we will continue the public hearing on this application in our regular April meeting.
Thank you.
Just
Thank
for the
you.
record, the meeting is, let's get that date so that it's on record for anyone who may be viewing or is interested. You want to say it is April 27th.
Yes.
Place to be determined. It'll either be in person in the P. Francis 6 room at Town Hall at 338 Main Street, or it'll again be held via Zoom.
Are we getting?
Please.
Okay. All right. Well, that concludes this application. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we've already taken care of the minutes. Pam, any old business?
I don't believe so.
Any old business from the board? Okay. Any correspondence? Any other business before or with the board? Our discussion with the zoning officer?
Is there any?
All right. With that, then we can take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All
Second.
in favor?
Second. Aye.
Aye. Thank you, gentlemen. Pam?
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.